Hey, did Frankie pass along that message I told him to tell you guys yesterday? I told him, I said, tell the guys out there, you let them know, and I know you're not going to take the bet because it's money lines and totals only, but you let them know, Hampus Lindholm, he's running the power play in Boston. In McAvoy's absence, all he's got to do be on one cheap goal, move it to his left, move it to his right, have Pasternak do something special, and he gets a point plus 130. You enjoyed that, right? He told you. What do you mean he didn't tell you? Of course he told you. I know. I followed up with him after. He said that what you're trying to say is you're not subscribed to the channel and you don't have the notifications on. Well, and that's a whole different story. You've dug your own grave. So what you should do, so you don't find yourself in a similar situation, how about you subscribe to the YouTube channel here? Unless you're not enjoying it, then you call me a bum, block me, and that's going to be the end of us forever. But if you are enjoying the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notifications, and while I have you here talking about that, like the video, would you? Comment, say say anything. You say absolutely anything. What's your favorite line from the movie Beetlejuice? You let me know down below.
Hey, Juice, have you heard of this term ghosting?
I'm the ghost with the most, babe.
Oh, you never watched Beetlejuice? That sounds like a comment as well. I never watched Beetlejuice. So anyway, part of the reason that Hampus Lindholm was a decent play is because he had increased opportunity. That's all we're really looking for. At all times, I'll never blame you. Sometimes I see in the comments, hey, should I take Orlov for a point tonight? I heard he's running the power play just like Hampus Lindholm. There's no John Klingberg. How about I take Orlov? You don't need my permission. If you see somebody bumped up like that, it could be the worst player in the world. He could just kick it with his skate to the left. Celebrini will just circle around, pick a corner, and now Orlov's getting credit. Is that an official sniff? I don't know. If you want it to be, because I'll never argue with you on a plus 150 Orlov sniff, but that's not where my attention kind of was drawn when I was looking over some of these lines. I was looking at some other guys because that's what we're looking for. Increased opportunity, guys playing with special players. Basically, all of NHL sports betting is, who's a bum? That is actually going to show like he's not a bum when I check the stat sheet. And we're going to start in Utah, Phoenix, Arizona, Utah, where the Utah, Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes are playing the Vegas Golden Knights. Just a bunch of what? Nothing spells hockey like a drive from Phoenix to Vegas to Utah, back to Phoenix to Scottsdale, and back to Vegas. But anyway, this one's going to be taking place in Utah. You have these Utah, Phoenix, Arizona Coyote Mammoth. Well, I think have won 2 games in their last 10. It's almost like somebody told you that. And now they're welcoming in the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights have a couple of prop values that I really like. We're looking for those increased opportunities, and nobody spells that like Braden Bowman, a guy you've never heard of a week ago. But what the Golden Knights did was they realized without Stone, putting Theodore back on the top power play, having 1 defenseman and 4 forwards, it simply wasn't working. So they introduced Braden Bowman as the 5th forward. Not only that, you want to know what they did with this guy? They stuck him right on Jack Eichel's wing. And he's come through in 2 of the last 3 games simply because of opportunity. They've introduced a guy you've never heard of. And this guy has points in 2 of 3. Why? They put him right on the pedestal. Top line, top power play, playing with a guy in Jack Eichel who can rake up points. So Braden Bowman coming in north of plus 120. Again, this should be minus 115. There's no reason that his point prop should be better than Ivan Barbashev's, who has the same exact line as him, 5-on-5, but Barbashev is not on that top power play, nor will he be, yet he has a filthier price than Braden Bowman. So I'm happy to take Bowman, and I will take Bowman. So give me Braden Bowman, and now I've said it too many times. That's too much alliteration, too many B's, for a point at plus 125 against the Utah, Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes. And while I want to move on, I really was. When I was looking through these, I was about to go to the next game. I'm like, whoa. Why is Pavel Dorofeyev just minus 120? Like, why is Marner where he is, and then Hurdle is rightly below him, but still a heavy point? But why is Dorofeyev showing a minus 120? It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm absolutely going to take that because he has points in his last 3, and more importantly, Bowman going on that top line meant that Mitch Marner came back down to the second line. So now you have Marner, Hurdle, Dorofeyev, all on the second line, all on the top power play. That is all the opportunity I need. But if you're the type of guy, it's plus money or I'm not listening, fine. Very simple. Add the center, Tomas Hurdle, for a point. When they took Marner off that line, I wouldn't be giving this to you. But when you have Marner on that line, notice he got reintroduced to that line, and all three of them had a point last game against the New York Rangers. And so did Bowman, for that matter. But I will take Pavel Dorofeyev for a point, along with Tomas Hurdle and a little same-game player point prop parlay. But my friends, that is not the only value I see on this slate. I see some other ones, and I'm looking over there in Florida. Now, if you're looking at the New Jersey Devils and you see Bratt and Hischier playing with, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Gritsuk, whatever he is, he's a Russian playing with the top two players on the Devils, the most productive players on the Devils. And what did that result in? In a game they lost 5-1. What do you know? That top line came through and he had a point. But that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking over there at the Florida Panthers, who just lost Luosterainen for, I don't know, did he burn his hand in a barbecue? What is going on around this league? Is this the game of unfortunate events, Lemony Snicket's, a tale of unfortunate events? You had Jack Eichel falling on Michael Myers' knife at a restaurant. Then you have Luosterainen burning himself at a barbecue. What I want to think about is who's taking Luosterainen's spot, because that Lundell, Luosterainen, Marchand line has kind of been carrying the Panthers offensively for the majority of the season. Yes, they're getting some production here and some production there. Obviously, Reinhart does his thing, Verhaeghe does his thing, but it's that line that's been producing the most consistently. So who's stepping in there? Who am I taking for a point on that line? They're throwing in a familiar name. Frankie Samoskevich is filling in for Luosterainen on that line with Lundell and Marchand. Now, unfortunately, he won't be on the top power play, but I don't think that's fully necessary because with Florida, that second power play does get a decent amount of time. This is kind of like that Sagan play that I gave you like a week ago, where, yeah, he's not Hintz, he's not Robertson, and he's not on that top power play, but he's playing with those two at 5-on-5, and he does get some power play time, and that's what I'm doing with Frankie Samoskevich, plus 128 for a point against the New Jersey Devils. And just like I gave you Sagan with Harley, that outside of the power play, but it was power play too, you do the same thing with Samoskevich and Aaron Ekblad, north of plus 500. That's insane. I'm sorry. I know you want the Pizzeria Picks. I know you want some donkey lines. I know you want some unders or overs or whatever. But this play right here is legitimately why I'm always hunting these. Samoskevich, a good player for a point, playing with those two good players. Aaron Ekblad, 4 assists. In the next 5 games, this hits once, you're in the profit. I think it will hit twice. I mean, assuming Luosterainen remains out. If this line plays together, the Lundell, Marchand, and Frankie Samoskevich, I think this Samoskevich Ekblad assist will hit twice in the next 5 games. And at plus 500, yeah, I think that's worth a sniff. So give me Samoskevich and Ekblad in a little same game parlay. And then I got one more for you before we take a trip to the pizzeria. That's how it is. You diet starts on Monday, and then by the weekend, you allow yourself a little slice or 2 or 3 or 5. Because, you have pizza every day and all of a sudden you don't really enjoy it as much. Even if you're in New York, you live down the block from the best pizzeria, you eat it every day and it takes away the allure. So start you with some props. We'll work our way to some donkey lines and Pizzeria Picks. But my last value is out there in Philadelphia, where they have a home game. I feel like they haven't played in a week, and they're taking on the lowest of the low right now, the St. Louis Blues, who I really don't think have a bad team. I really think at some point, whether it's next month, I mean, look, there's so much of the season left. At some point, I think this Blues team, they have a lot of good players. They're just going to go on a random run. We see this like every year from them. They just go on some absurd run at some point. That time, my friends, is not now. They are the bottom of the barrel Blues. I mean, they played a severely short-handed Toronto Maple Leafs team who nothing is going right for. Like, the Leafs are probably in their worst stretch of the season. And even they managed to pull out a win against these Blues. So things are not going well for these Blues. And with Philly, when you look at their roster, it's so funny. So what the hell? Who the hell am I taking? Konechny's usually the most expensive. They try to tease you with Michkov, but he plays 10 minutes a game. Couturier is not reliable. Who the hell am I taking here? There's one line that's not going to be split up because it's been their best line for the majority of the season. The most expensive point prop on the Philadelphia Flyers is Trevor Zegras. He's actually been playing very well. You can call it deserved. I don't think he's better than Konechny. Regardless, it's saying we think you should pay the most for him to register a point. That guy's the most likely guy to register a point. Well, who's he playing? He's playing with a guy in Owen Tippett who has the opportunities that I'm looking for. He's on that top power play. And 5-on-5, he's playing with the most productive player on the team in Trevor Zegras. And the most productive line and the most consistent line, a line that's unlikely to be broken up. But then again, with the Flyers, anything's a possibility. But this Dvorak, Tippett, and Zegras line went bananas a couple games ago. I think it was 2 games ago. All of them had 3 points. I think all of them scored a goal. It was wild. It was a complete offensive outburst. And even in the next game, where I think they got maybe held to 1 goal or maybe 2, Tippett factored in on one of them. So this is a guy, like I said, top power play with Konechny and those guys, and then 5-on-5 playing with Zegras, who's been the most productive player on the most consistent line for them. If you make a living taking point props at plus 125, plus 130, you're going to find yourself in a good place more often than not. So you give me this point for Owen Tippett against the St. Louis Blues. And you know what? You could run that whole line out there. Give me Tippett, Dvorak, Zegras. So give me that whole line for a point. And then you can go into that pizza parlor and tell me about some money lines, tell me about some totals.
Oh, you're killing me. Look, it's money lines only.
It sickens me to, it's funny. Dorofeyev, minus 120 for a point. That doesn't sicken me at all. I feel great about that. Taking the Montreal Canadiens, a roller hockey team, for minus 120. What do they have? 1 win in their last 6 or 7 games? But unfortunately, I think they're going to win. I think they're in a good spot against a Washington team who they just had an offensive outburst, but now they got to play the very next night. The Canadiens should be hungry for a win. They are still missing a couple players, but if you want to just talk about sniffs, I'll leave it at that. I think Montreal is due for a win. And now let's look at some totals. I know you guys must have thoroughly enjoyed sweating out yet another under 1.5 first period total. I really root for a goal to go in early, because I want you guys to win, but sweat the rest of the way. And that's exactly what happened with Calgary and Chicago. I think this wasn't even something I was going to give out, but I kind of want to put you through it again. Give me the under 1.5 in the first period of the Chicago-Seattle Kraken game. Let's see if we can sweat our way through another one, but that's not the under I was thinking about. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets. If this was 1 calendar year ago, if this was 2 calendar years ago, we're thinking this game is going to end 7-5. But right now, at the moment, as I previously mentioned when talking about the Blues, the Toronto Maple Leafs are missing like 8 starters. I mean, they're missing Nyes, they're missing Matthews, so they're missing 2 critical pieces of their power play. That's a lot of offense. We obviously know Marner left for Vegas, so this is a team that is not equipped well to be scoring a ton of goals, even if they're playing a team like the Blue Jackets, who you can score against. If Toronto's going to win, especially considering their new coach, this is not, the Toronto Maple Leafs of a couple of years ago, where they're going to try to outscore their problems. If they're going to win a game, it's going to have to look like it did against the Blues, a lower scoring game, maybe 3-2. And Columbus, they're dealing with their own set of issues on offense. Okay, they sent Kent Johnson to the 4th line last week. They're kind of rejiggering who's on the top power play, who's not. So it's not like they're an offensive juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination. But I'll go with an under 6.5 with the injury-depleted Toronto Maple Leafs and the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then late night, you can call this one a sniff because I don't feel like describing it. But the Vancouver Canucks, I think it's their first home game after being on a road trip. Then you have Dallas, lost to the Islanders the other night. This is, they're flying up to Vancouver. Not a short flight. And I think their first game on a road trip, maybe it starts off a little bit slow. I know when you look at the Dallas Stars, you can look at their last week and a half and say, this team has really been scoring. Okay, well then look at the week and a half and 2 weeks before that. That's also a team that can play some unders hockey. I don't know. I heard Matt Duchene's been skating, but Dallas at their core is kind of an unders team. Now, granted, this is a new coach, but Vancouver's no stranger to playing unders hockey either. Sometimes they go dry offensively. Quinn Hughes has been in and out of the lineup. Moral of the story, I'm going to go under there as well. And that is what I have for you here on a Thursday. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. You don't want to miss those Lindholm sniffs like I told you before. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click those notifications. I already told you. Like the video. If you didn't comment before, you still have time. Comment now. And those are all the Tier 1 favors. Now we're going to elevate it up to Tier 2, and there's only one favor in the Tier 2 level, and that is hype the video if you can. There's a hype button down below. If you click that, if you lend me your hype, it will show this video to more people who are into hockey, into sniffing, into God knows what. And that just doesn't sound very good. Doesn't sound as good as a Tier 3 favor, which is come join the Patreon. Be a minority owner of the show. Be the lone sponsor. Support what you see here. Support a creator. It's very much appreciated. And also, that's obviously, you don't need to listen to Frankie Slices when I put all the sniffs on the Patreon on Wednesdays if I don't do the video. I put all the sniffs for the weekend on there. So, got a lot of stuff there, along with the whole community of 19-leg parlay sniffers. And they all hope to see you there, just like me. And if not, no worries. I will see you tomorrow for the next round of NHL Sniffs. And don't forget to watch a Dave and a Dan Week 12 film that today. I'll have it out as soon as possible. And I think I mistakenly put I didn't know the Thursday night game was what it was. So make sure you watch that before the game kicks off tomorrow night. Yeah, you're probably only going to have a few hours, but watch that for some Thursday night football sniffs. And then I'll be back with you tomorrow for the next round of NHL Sniffs. Take it easy. I'll see you then.